Okay, we're here with Kelvin Wilson, and this podcast is about motivation, right?
That's the one.
In 2006,
we're here.
Yeah, 2012, Celtic versus Barcelona, man. Famous victory, 2-1. Before the game, you knew you were going to be, like playing against Messi. How'd you motivate yourself?
What motivation do you need as a football player to play against the best player to ever play the game, in my eyes? When it got drawn, that Barca was in our group, I couldn't wait for that game. And it's funny enough, before that game, I had a calf strain, and I flew out there and we trained in the morning of the game. And the gaffer was like, I don't have to risk it. I was like, I'm playing. I'm definitely playing. And I just got through. I completely forgot about it once we kicked off. But it was a special moment. And after that game as well, the one at the Nou Camp, that was the first one. I got Messi's shirt as well. I swapped with him. So that was a great thing to have. My kids, it's on the wall, and my kids are always, who's that man in the picture? So they've not got a clue.
You had him on lock for 91 minutes. And then there was that final minute when he scored.
Honestly, I think if you see it or if you watch the clips, just everyone just falls on the floor because it's the last kick of the game, because we get the ball back to the centre spot, we kick off and the ref blows up. Yeah. So we would have got a 1-1 drawn in Nou Camp.
Yeah.
So, but then we take him back to our place and we beat him 2-1. So
yeah. Banging, man.
It's crazy. Who else was in that game? So it was Messi played. Was Xavi and Iniesta?
It was when they said Barca had the best squad ever. Yeah. When it was that team that was just battering everyone. Iniesta, because I got Xavi's one when we played him back at our place. Yeah. So Iniesta, Xavi, Puyol, was it?
Puyol, yeah.
All of them, yeah.
For me, it's incredible because obviously you're a local lad. Obviously, I know you from when we've been kids. To see you on the biggest platform in football, like club football. Yeah. It's my brethren's playing on the Champions League. You know what I mean? It's crackers. So. You know what I mean? Like that's why I like to do like these things, because head's not in the sky.
Of course.
You've done bits and bobs, and you're still here doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feet on the ground.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So I just got to commend you on that, man. It's a big look from you.
But even me, Joe, it's like when I was there and I'm lining up and the music's on. Yeah. Like if you pop a balloon and it just goes flying everywhere. That's what I felt. I just want to run around. Yeah. And energy. I remember after the game I was thinking I could carry on playing it. Yeah. But then the next day mentally you're just tired, you just drain, all the adrenaline's gone.
Yeah, it's like a boxing match, isn't it?
Yeah.
The boxers, like they're all hyped for it, but see after like days after, like they're focused. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Yeah, man. Definitely.
So I got a question for you. So what was the bigger game? Nou Camp for you as a footballer, playing in a Nou Camp full ass, or Celtic at home?
Celtic Park.
Was it? Yeah, I bet the atmosphere was nuts.
I think Messi's gone saying that Celtic Park's the best atmosphere he's ever played in.
Yeah.
It was mad because our family came up. It was just a sellout. I remember the week before, it's just everyone going mad.
Yeah, the whole city just buzzing.
And then the game came and it was just perfect. We got battered possession wise. but what team didn't every weekend? You know what I mean? When they played Barca, but we got battered. But we got the win. We won 2-1, and it's gone down in history for Celtic, and to be a part of that it's amazing, man.
Yeah, it was mad. Like I read, and you got to play that game. I read the stats were like 80% possession.
Oh, it's mad.
But what can you do? Like they hold the ball like no one who's ever held the ball before. It's kind of crazy.
Who was Celtic gaffer?
Neil Lennon. His first spell. Yeah, so I won the first two. So they won 9 in a row. Obviously, they lost to 10 last year. Yeah. But I won the first 2 9 in a row, and then I left. Yeah. So I was a part of that 9 in a row as well, which is good. I won a double twice.
Amazing.
I won a double once, and won the league twice. So I had a great time up there. Great time.
What was your thoughts? And then pre Celtic days, Forest. Obviously, you're not moving abroad because it's Scotland, obviously north of England. But what was your thoughts of like for that move? Was you nervous about that move? Was it a yes? I'm ready to go.
No. Honestly, I did. I wanted to stay at Forest. I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
So at Forest at the time, under the owners then and the chief exec at the time, it was if you was from Nottingham, it seemed like they thought they were doing you a favour letting you play for Forest. So me, Wes Morgan, Julian Bennett, we was nowhere near the top earners, but we was the only ones that played every single week. And we're getting 8s, 9s out of 10s.
Yeah.
But then you had other players, I don't want to name names because they're still friends, but they wasn't performing, but they was on big money.
Yeah.
So my contract was coming to an end, and I just had an unbelievable season. It was probably apart from that season at Celtic, it was my best season I've had as a professional. And I had a few clubs watching. West Brom were interested, West Ham, and Forest coming. I said, no, I want to stay at Forest. I want X amount a week, and it wasn't stupid money. Honestly, you might sign it to a normal person, but in football terms, it wasn't. And they came back and offered me half of what I asked for, which it was like no chance. So my agent put the feeders out, and Celtic Neil came back because I played with Neil for a year because he came to Forest before he retired, and he was like, "Yep, I'll take you." And because it's classed as a foreign club to the British, so it's cross border. So you can sign a pre-contract. So I signed a pre-contract in January, and Forest put me on gardening leave then, and I didn't play football for like 5 months.
Wow, what's that? Explain that. What is that? What is?
So basically, I said to them, "Okay, I've got 5 months left on my contract." It was January, so May I would leave. But obviously, I'm going to only play if I'm fit, 100% fit. If I feel a little niggle, I ain't going to risk it because I've got a new career.
You're leaving. Yeah.
And they couldn't accept that. So the chairman called me one morning. I didn't know he was coming down to the training ground. I got in, and the physio said, "Kelv." So I thought, "I'm not injured." So I said, the chairman wants you.
That's crazy.
I was like, what? So I went in, and the chairman sat there with Billy Davis, and he just said, "Go home." I was like, laughed. And he was like, "Yeah, you're on garden leave. We don't want this kind of atmosphere around the club." So
that is crazy.
Mad.
But people think I fell out with Billy Davis, but I never did. Never. Billy Davis was one of the best managers I played under. So that was the end of my Forest career, my first spell, which it was a bit sad really, because they got to the playoffs again that year and they lost to Swansea, but it's football.
Yeah, we hear all about that, like sort of cutthroat kind of.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it that? Then?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's like what you were saying, Calv. Though, like we was having this talk about people from Nottingham having to leave to get the respect back with having to leave out of Nottingham to earn the respect, and that's when Nottingham start kind of believing in you and seeing your true talents. That's like what you're saying with you, Julian Bennett, Wes Morgan. You all had to kind of leave to bring it back home. Really to them to like, you do deserve that money. Or
1 million%. You know it's like they don't appreciate it. So you have to go away and they're watching you play for another team. And they're like, wow, we shouldn't have let him go.
You was actually, you was at the club.
That's mad.
And I went on a free. I didn't go for any money. I left.
That is crazy.
And then 2 years later, they're buying me back for £2.5 million. So it doesn't make sense. But I guess it's football. It's a crazy, crazy, crazy sport. And as much as it's the best job in the world, I've got 2 daughters and they're not into football. And if I probably had a son, I probably wouldn't push them that way to play football.
Interesting.
Because I think it's even more so cutthroat. It's
this is what it is. This is what I was speaking to. Because my little lad plays. He's got a few clubs after him, Derby, Mansfield, or you know how it goes. Yeah. But I keep telling him like it's not the only thing because he's 8, 9. I'm like, you might get dropped. You might get. It happens in football. It happens. Of course. So when a kid's putting all his eggs in one basket, it's not really that good because youths don't kind of know like how to deal with that. Yeah. When it's football, this is why you have to have. I get it now because when we was kids, make sure you got a plan B, make sure you got a plan C, make sure it's not just you know what I'm saying because that drop it's devastating.
And that's the thing. I think you got to stress that to especially a lot of the youth team players because they put so much time and effort into it. They get to 18 and they get told no.
And then you see him out in town.
There you go.
Out of drinking.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
They're doing the wrong things, going down the wrong path.
Yes.
And, the drugs, the drink, and things like this. So, I do mentoring now. I'm a mentor, and that's the reason why I do it because I go to some academies and things like that.
Amazing.
Just to try and explain to the youth team players, have a plan B. Not just if you don't make it.
But
You retire when I retired when I was 31.
Yeah.
You might have enough money to sit back, but it's this. You need to work.
Yeah,
was there any point early on where you thought, oh man, this is a risk?
Many times. My best friend always says to me, Carl, we was on the bus one time going training for Notts County and he was just coming with me to watch. I was 16 at the time and he played up for Baseford United and I was like, I'm quitting, I'm going to come play with you. Don't be stupid, you can't do that. I was like, I just want to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm full with the lads, that's it, yeah.
And I was like, no, don't do it, Kel, trust me, don't do it. And he taught me out of it. And now he's I'm the Kel's career, it's all in my hands. It was me. So yeah, I understand. It's a. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't. It would have been something in trade if I didn't make it as a footballer, you know, because I'm not someone who can sit still, and so it would have been something in trade. But I was one of the. I won't say lucky ones because it wasn't luck because I did all the hours of training and traveling and sacrifices. Yeah. So
talk a bit about that. Can we talk a bit about that? What it took for you, like as the 16-year-old Kelvin Wilson, the teenager Kelvin Wilson. Talk about like what it was that you had to put in and what you had to sacrifice to get them contracts, to get signed as a professional. You know what I'm saying?
So this is what people don't understand, because I hate when people say to me, "Yeah, he was one of the lucky ones," and I just agree. I go, "Yeah," but I come away from it thinking, "No, you know, when these lot are out on Friday and Saturday evenings, I'm not. I've got to stay in. I've got to eat my pasta. I've got to clean my boots. I've got to train, catch 2 buses to train on a Tuesday and a Thursday. I've got to do these things. And when you're in the youth team, I've got to go live in digs. I'm staying in digs with 10 other lads, which is good, but you're away from your family for the first time, just after leaving school. And it was different. It was hard. And then as a pro, it's even more so because you kiss your Christmases goodbye. You know, you get to wake up with your kids. Mate, I didn't at Celtic actually, because every game, before a game, you stay in a hotel, home or away. So Boxing Day you play, so I'm in a hotel. Christmas night, so you don't see your kids. You don't see your family.
You know what? And you don't feel it. You see, as a football fan, we don't really see that side of the football because we're just watching on telly. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I mean. And then same with the boys, like the Chelseas and the Liverpools, them players there. You know, they'll hardly be at home. You know, especially when they're playing in Champions League. So if you play a Saturday and then you've got a Champions League game on a Wednesday, you're probably home twice, 2 days in that week because you're in a hotel, you're travelling. Even if it's at home, they don't let you go home. They want you in the hotel, so
that's
they know what they're feeding you. They know, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what, like obviously, because you, Calvia, you love football. We love football. You love football. So you touched on it about earlier. Like it's work for you. How do you from the love of the football of the game to work?
I remember when I first realised that I was probably 18, and when I was in the youth team at Notts County, it was still, I loved it. It was sport. It wasn't a job. I'll just go play football. When you get into the first team, it's a business. You can't just go and enjoy it. You can't lose on a Saturday and then go and do your normal lifestyle or going for a drink or going for a meal. Especially when you move to teams like Celtic. Yeah. If you lose, if you've got plans with your missus or whatever that night and you lose, they get cancelled. You can't go.
That's crazy.
Man. You can't be seen in a bar or you can't be seen at a restaurant because you'll get fans coming up to you. You're coming out drinking. You've just lost. You was crap today.
Public figure.
But then managers as well. They expect you to. What are you doing now, Kel? We're lost. So it's a strain on your family life as well, especially if you're in relationships, because they find it hard to understand. Well, we're just going for a meal. We can't tonight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because we always hear about, like, not so much anymore, but Wags used to be talked about a lot. And, like, they're making a sacrifice as well, isn't it? Cause,
massively, yeah. You know, I'm not with my ex that when I was at Celtic and things like that, but I take my half to her. She moved up with me and stuff. But she only stayed a year and then she moved back because I was always in hotels.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I was never there and she didn't know anyone. And she moved back the second year. But the foreign boys that move over, I used to always think, I'm only 4 hours down up the road, you know. But you boys, we had Australians, we had guys from South Korea, and I'm like, you can't just pop home. You don't even know when you're next going.
Yes, that's mad.
And I find it hard just being, I'm from Nottingham, but them boys, I used to think, wow, and they've got kids and they've got misses, they can hardly speak English. It's hard for them.
How is that? I've always wondered, like, obviously, like, you because we're English in it, and obviously, like, you've got players that come from all over the world. How is that you as an Englishman? How do you kind of like almost like mentoring, innit? It's always like mentoring your colleagues, like, you know what I mean? Because obviously they don't know the culture, they don't know the lifestyle, they don't know the way around. Like, how is that with players?
You know what? Celtic was the main one because there were so many different nationalities. I think there was only something like 7 or 8 British lads. And that was in a squad of like 25.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of foreign players. And when lads come over and you see they can't speak English, but they've been there a year and then you see them start speaking English, you're like, wow, But the amount of times that you're on the coach and a foreign boy will be like, how do you say this?
Yeah,
How do you spell this in English? And you've got to get the phone and type it for them.
Yeah.
So it's funny sometimes.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I always thought like, because communication on a pitch in Power League, yeah, for me anyway, where I'm coming from, it's important. Like I can't imagine like the level of communication on like in like the Champions League and people speaking different languages and that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like football language, I guess.
Yeah, there is a language in football.
You know, we had lads that couldn't speak English at Celtic, but then when you shouted left shoulder, right shoulder, they kind of knew.
Yeah, man on.
Yeah. They know, and they pick it up quick.
Yeah.
So it's like that. But then you play in big stadiums. You know, we used to always on a Friday would train and then finish with a game. Would finish with 3 games. So you'd do 2 touch in the game. You only allowed 2 touches for 5 minutes, and then maybe 1 touch, and then the last game would always be no talking.
Wow.
So you got to play the game no talking.
Okay.
Because when you're playing these big, well, not just big European games, even at Celtic Park, the crowd's that large. You can't shout teammate anyway. So you had to start to get into the routine of checking your shoulders yourself, looking around all the time, taking pictures. Right over there, ball comes out. So it was a good trick that was that Neil Lennon brought, because I use that now when I coach, because I think it helps players awareness.
Yeah. So going on to that now, the retired Kelvin Wilson, after life, after football, like what's your day to day like?
He's pretty chilled, you know. He's pretty chilled. I've got 2 young kids, a 5-year-old and 10-year-old, so they take up a lot of time. I try and do a lot of the school runs and things like that, try and be a part of it. That's one of the reasons why I retired. I want to spend Christmas with them and stuff like that. I do mentoring. So I've got a mentoring company now, MK Mentoring. So I do it with my business partner, Marcus Wilkes. So we're going to academies.
What, football academies?
Yeah. So we've been into Forest, Lincoln. So we're going to these academies and sit and speak with the young lads.
That's amazing.
And help them. But also now we've started going to schools and young offenders as well.
See, that's where it's at.
So it's definitely needed. And if it's something that I can give back, and if someone can be inspired by me working with them, I'm more than happy. To me, I'm just me, but if it helps
and
someone,
you know it is, like, obviously I'm first man in the works, you know, because as you're a black footballer who's actually gone through and made it and played at top level. It's because I see a lot of talented young players that don't get opportunities because of the colour of their skin. You know what I mean? And or if they have been at clubs, they've been victims to mad slander, you know what I mean? Mad, crazy things. I've seen it for myself. So obviously you going in into schools, young offenders and them things. I think it's amazing because you are the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
You are the prototype for this thing.
And going back to that, what you just said about in football clubs, young black players, and it's so true. I've witnessed it. I've been a part of it. I've been, you know, and at the time, I look back now, we used to laugh. But I look back now and think,
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You know, we used to do sometimes, I'm not going to say what club or what manager, but brothers against the rest.
You see, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? And we would be like, all right, then yeah, and we would try and win the game. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And you look back now and you think, wow, but the worst one that I ever come across in racism, I heard quite a bit of racism from fans and stuff. But the worst one was a player to the physio. The physio was black, and I was only a young lad at this time. And the player was it was a Tuesday game, and we got back really late. I was getting off the coach, and the lads are tired. And one of the players picked up a bunch of bananas and gone, "Hey," the physio's name, "Here's your wages." And threw the bananas.
That is absolutely.
And I remember I was only probably 17 at the time, and I was like, "What have I just heard?"
Wow.
But to be fair, the physio didn't react. But he did pull in the next day and say, "Listen, that was too far."
And this is what I mean, though. This is what I mean. There is a lot of racism within football that the game we don't see as fans. You know what I'm saying? And
Massively.
I know you probably, like you're saying, you have seen a lot of racism. You know
massively, yeah, massively. Even from players. And again, I look back. We might have laughed at the time, but you look back and you think,
it's the wrong mindset. Yeah,
it's good now that like the thing with Saka, like recently in the news, it's all over social media. People are backing it. But I can imagine, like for yourself, you were just saying, for years and years and years. And then you think like what Ian Wright used to have to put up with.
Yeah, I don't know. Them guys did it, John Barnes and them.
Yeah.
Because Now-
It wasn't sneaky back then. It was straight blatant.
So now, if it happens, they come down heavy on it. I don't believe they want to at times. I believe they only do it because they have to. But back then, it was all right. So John Barnes can't stop and have an argument with someone in the crowd or say to the ref, "Did you hear that?" The old stadium can hear it.
Yeah,
so I don't know how them guys did it, man. I can't believe I couldn't have seen myself playing in that back then.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like thinking we just get on and watch it. We don't really think about it too much. You go to a game and then immediately, almost every game, you get something.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a comment behind you, it's kind of crazy, like looking at it from that perspective. I remember maybe 10 years ago, Sully Montari left the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that was the first time, from my perspective, I was like,
Oh yeah,
I can't believe it.
I remember that.
Yeah, like this is happening. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, but it's in the game.
It's in the game, and that's like you're saying, the crowd. Yeah, I get the crowd because the crowd is ignorance. But like I'm saying, as professionals, not just the footballers, the staff as well. Because I look at them as professionals as well. Because it's a professional organisation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
man.
and like what you're saying, it was almost before we made a campaign about it. It was almost part of football banter.
Yeah.
So I get when you say, yo, man would laugh.
1,000,000%.
Man would laugh. I've had it, like, even though I don't play on that level, I've had it semi-pro level. Yo, Jah, go and get us that TV. I'll have it off you.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Yeah.
And you do laugh it off because it's part of like, we've accepted it as football banter.
Yeah.
But really, when you look at it, it's like, wow.
When you dig deep and you look at it, it is like, wow. It's
crazy.
wow.
It's crazy. But yeah, man, it is a mad thing. But Kelvin, how are you then? I want to ask, like, how are you are you still fit?
Yeah, I go gym every day.
Still-
When you said to me, what's my day routine, I go gym every day.
That's mad.
I always see Tony as well.
Yeah, he loves it. He don't do the work now. I just always see him on his Snapchat
Innit, man, always on his phone.
In the sauna.
But yeah, I go gym every day. I do the school and I'm doing the mentoring and things like that. Doing bits and bobs like this as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty flexible with things.
Are you playing?
I'm not. I'm a coach at Ilkeston Town.
Ilkeston Town.
First team, yeah. So I'm a coach there. We're flying.
Who's the gaffer there? Who's the gaffer?
Martin Crothers, Gandhi man.
Yeah, Gandhi. Yes, we got Gandhi, man.
Gandhi's there. Yeah, Gandhi's the gaffer. So the owners have put some money into it. And
Yeah,
they've
so it's running properly.
A proper go, yeah. So we've got a good squad and good chance this year. I enjoy it as well. Going into football, coaching, it's not something that I want to do full time. So I would never go into like a professional club and do it. This is part time. We train Tuesday and Thursdays, play on a Saturday, and it works around my stuff.
Yeah, you enjoy the balance with
it's
life
perfect.
and
yeah,
work.
it's not full on. It's good. It's enough for me.
That's sick. I always think the idea of like playing charity matches, that a lot of professional footballers are like deep down quite competitive and they're hiding
Definitely,
it.
yeah.
And they're hiding it for the TV cameras.
We played one. We played a charity game in the summer for Gary Birtle's wife. She passed away sadly of cancer. So
Where was that? Was that
Baseford United?
Baseford, yeah.
And there was some great names. Kevin Keegan was the manager of one team.
Wow.
And I think Steve Chet was the manager of our team. But some great names turned out. You know, Michael Dawson and Clinton Morrison, Kevin Nolan.
Yeah.
Some great players. Des Walker. And it was competitive. We were so
They still got it.
yeah, Des came on last 10 minutes and absolutely nailed someone straight through him. So it was a Forest Legends against an All-Star 11. So the All-Star 11 was Marlon Airwood. He didn't play for Forest. He played for the other team. Clinton Morrison, Kevin Nolan.
Yeah.
So it was Danny Webber. Remember that? Danny Webber was at United.
Yes, Danny Webber, yeah.
Yeah, so they had a good side, but we had a good side as well. So it was
Who won?
It was 4-4.
Oh, that's a game.
man.
Well, you know, it was a good game.
game.
It was a great game. So yeah, the competitive side that never leaves you.
Yeah.
Let my kids win. If I'm doing it with my kids, never let them win.
Yeah, you gotta play with a competitive slang, don't you? Otherwise it doesn't fit. I just want to ask you briefly about so when you went to Celtic, you talked to us a little bit before we started about going to Celtic and realising like how big the deal is with the sort of Catholic Protestant thing, like Celtic Rangers. Maybe talk a bit about like that, like the pubs and stuff in Glasgow.
Yeah, so you know, when I first moved up there, the liaison officer took me on a little tour of Glasgow, showed me where to live before I moved up there. It was a summer before I went, so showed me where a lot of the players live, things like that. And then, funny enough, I was driving by pubs and you see flags. They've got Irish flags outside some and the Great British flag outside some. And he just said to me, "You don't go into them ones, mate." And I was like, "Why?" Because I'm thinking I'm from Great Britain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why? He's like, No, not if you play for Celtic. Don't go in there, mate. Just if you do like going into a pub, go into the ones with the Irish flags. And I was like, what is it? Are you being serious? I thought he was joking with me. And he was like, no, honestly, Kelvin, don't go in.
That is crazy.
That was the first eye-opener of like, wow, okay. And then, obviously, when I got in there, it's just a massive club. People don't realise it, and the fan base is huge. And it was a great club, but I seen different sides to football. It wasn't just on the pitch; it was away from it as well. But it was a great experience, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Yeah, I loved it.
Didn't you say that you went to Australia? And you thought,
making my debut. So I signed, and when you're at Forest, we went on tour to Portugal, Germany, so always in Europe. And then I go and sign there, and we're like, right, we're off to Australia next week for 16 days. I was like, all right. So I'm thinking Australia. So got to the airport, going to Australia. First class, business class. I was like, what? Life? I didn't know what was going on.
Top tier, mate.
But then, I got there and I was obviously a little bit nervous. You got Samaras and got all the big names, you know what I mean?
Wally, you know?
Scott Brown, all these guys. I'm thinking I've come from the Championship. These guys have played in Europe all these years, and they've got transfer fees of X amount of millions. So I was a bit nervous at the start. Never showed it, but you're asking yourself, am I good enough for this? These are international players. And my debut, I was thinking, all right, at least I'm in Australia, I've got a big crowd here. Got there, and I'm thinking, the traffic was crazy going into the ground. I'm thinking, why is it like this? And then I got in there, and the gaffer's Neil's done the team, so he's gone, right, lads, I know it's a friendly, but put a good show on because we've got 20-odd thousand fans here today. I remember sitting there thinking, what? My debut. So that was showing me how big the fan base is. But then we played Real Madrid in Boston, and that was crazy as well. That was crazy. I think we lost 2-0. Ronaldo played. I got Kaká's shirt after that game. So there's lots of games that people don't know about because the Barca game is that hype. You know what I mean? We played Inter Milan. We played Atletico Madrid and one in the Champions League. My first year we was in the Europa League.
Europa League.
So it was in that. So we played Inter Milan and all these teams, Atletico Madrid.
Big household names in football.
Yeah, and then when we got to Champions League, got to the last 16, we played Juventus. So they had Paul Pogba and Pirlo in centre midfield. So it was like great experiences.
I must say though, obviously you said because you when you arrived at Celtic, it was like big names, Samaras, like big names, international names. But I must say that you held your own. You and your household name at Celtic.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
My first year it was a bit hard to find my feet. I'm living far away from home. You know what I mean? Even though I was 26 and a man, I've never lived that far away from home where I can't just pop to my mum's. I see my mum every day now. Couldn't do that anymore. And it was just getting into a routine. Always being in hotels. I wasn't used to that because when you play at home at Forest, you stay at home and just make your way in. But it was just a massive change. And then it was a bit hard. I had a few injuries as well in my first year. And my first Rangers, the Old Firm game, I had a bit of a nightmare. We lost 4-2. And I remember the papers absolutely hammered me.
Oh, man.
Really went in on me as well. So it was like, I remember going home that summer and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I want to leave. And I nearly signed for Leicester.
Wow.
Oh.
So it was a swap deal with Matty Mills and me. So Nigel Pearson's rang me, yep, we want to do it, yep. Neil Lennon was like, if you want to go home, okay. And then literally, I went in the next day and Lenny went, I've changed my mind, Kelv. No, you're not going.
Part of the plan, mate.
And I was that angry. I was like, pissed off. I was like, I just want to go home back to Leicester. Perfect. Wes was there at the time.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, get me back. And then I remember him saying, right, we're going to Boston. And I was like, I'm not going. I was going to say I'm injured. I'm not going. And he's like, we're playing Real Madrid. We're going. But I was like, I'm not going. Anyway, I went so pissed off.
Yeah.
And that kickstarted my Celtic career, that game.
Yeah.
Because I went into that game, I was man of the match.
Yeah, blind eye, yeah.
And I come away from it, and I remember Neil Lennon grabbing me saying, you've set your standards now. He was amazing. And that season, I came second to getting Player of the Year. To Fraser Foster, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, I had 2 more years left. But my young daughter was born, and she was living down here.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Celtic were really good. They didn't want to let me go. They thought it was about the money. They offered me a new contract. I was like, it's not about the money. I just want to come home.
You've done your time.
I've done 2 years here. Really enjoyed it. I need to get back down the road now. And he understood. So he said, listen, if Forest come in and pay, because Fawaz just brought the club, the Q80 guys, so it was for massive money. So he said, right, if they paid $2.5 million, you can go. And we had a Champions League qualifier in Sweden, and I was in my hotel room, and I knocked on the door, so I opened it, and it was Neil Lennon. He came in my room, and he was like, right, I'll tell you now, we've accepted an offer from Forest. I was like, right. He went, well, please just play for me tonight, get us through into the Champions League, and you'll go in my blessings. Again, got my match, won 1-0.
Nice.
I feel like I'm delved into Champions Manager, real life. Manager. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I always wanted to know what Neil Lennon was like, you know, because he looked like, you read stuff about him, he just looked hard, like a hard
I've always
guy.
liked Neil Lennon.
Yeah,
Was that Leicester?
Yeah, he used to dye his hair white, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, I've always liked
He
Neil
was
Lennon.
class, but
Lenny's a great guy. He's so clever. No one would think he is, but you know, very articulate with his words. Speaks really well, funny as well. Yeah, but he can go crazy, man. You know,
you can see it, innit?
I was playing a game at home, and in the change room, it's a bit like this, but a lot bigger.
Yeah.
You know, change rooms, you got lockers all the way around, big wooden lockers, and you walk in. So we came in at half time. It was 1-1 at home to someone, I can't remember who it was. And I thought 1-1, we'll go on to win this game 3-4-1. It's half time. Everyone's come in, sat down. So he's come in, and there's food. Food always gets brought in at half time in case someone wants a little.
Yeah.
So he's walked in, we've all sat down, and he's walked in really calm. He's got the tray, he's moved it out of the way, he's got his tactic board, put it up in the middle. We thought, yeah, that's normal for him. Yeah. But there's like a little hallway as you walk in. So he started walking back down the hallway. So we were like, he must be nipping out and coming back. He's walked to the end of the hallway, and then he can't run, he's got little legs. He turned around and started running Danny up, and we were like, what's he doing? He just fly kicked the board. The board, he hit Fraser Foster, the goalkeeper, hit him, and then he's just gone into his full-on rant. You're going around every player, crap. Yeah, man. Just blinding. We're all like, it's only 1-1, we're probably going to go on and win this. We did go on to win it 3-4-1, but yeah, he went absolutely ballistic.
I love that.
His shit.
I'm glad he's like that.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was going to be like that.
Billy Davies was the same though.
Oh really?
Billy Davies was the same. He was great with his tactics, Billy Davies. Where Lenny wasn't. Lenny was more, my management was brilliant.
Yeah.
No tactics really with Neil Lennon. Never did shape. So even before the Barcelona big games, never do shape. 5-a-sides.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The only thing he used to do was set pieces, corners. That's the only thing. Never do shape. You say, well, I do shape. On the Saturday, that's not going to happen. Different things happen, so you can't.
I get it though.
I got it. I understood it.
And sorry to cut you, but I feel like in football, man management is very, very important.
It's the biggest thing. That's what I noticed in football, because the managers that managed me the best were good man management. They knew when I needed a rocket my arse.
Yeah.
Like, fucking come on, you.
Yeah.
But then they knew, like, Kelvin, you're right. Yeah, you have a day off.
Yeah.
Just knew.
Just put that arm on your shoulder, innit? Like sometimes you need that in football.
1,000,000%.
You need that.
Confidence is a big thing. And them two are the best managers I played. I played under so many managers, but Billy Davies and Neil Lennon, definitely the two best. They got the best out of me as well.
Amazing.
And you're not going to be managing anytime soon?
You know what? I would consider it. I wouldn't want to do it again as a first team, like in a professional club. You know, I'm at Ilkeston, my coach. I'm not trying to get Gandhi's job, by the way. But yeah, I think, you know, in the next 5-10 years, I probably would want to do it at that level or conference or something like that. Yeah,
I could see it. I could see you going into management and doing really well.
And I do enjoy it. You know, I put my point across to Gandhi a lot, and he listens, and I take a few of the sessions with the back four with the defence, and he, you know, our defensive form is picked up massively in the last 4 games.
Amazing.
So yeah, I think eventually, maybe one day.
Just to round it off, what motivational speech could you say to a 13, 14-year-old trying to break through?
What, in football?
In football.
Don't cheat. Don't try and cheat. And when I say don't cheat, I mean in everything. You know, the sessions that you do, the running sessions. If the line's there, the manager says go to the line, go to the line. Mm-hmm. Because you don't think that people are watching, but they're watching. The coaches are watching. If he asks you to do something so stupid, and you're like, I'm not doing that, do it. Yeah. There's a reason behind everything. Yeah. It might sound stupid at the time, but there's a reason behind everything. And the biggest one is sacrifice. You know, if you've got a game on a Saturday, not even just a big game, a game, don't be going out on a Friday night, even if it's just to the park, to your mates.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking or smoking. Yeah, but you're not meant to be on your feet. You're meant to be sitting down, your feet up, watching TV, and you notice the difference.
Yeah.
So don't cut corners, and definitely, take on board advice. Don't think you know it all at that age, because you know absolutely nothing.
It's true.
So yeah, that would be my advice to a young footballer trying to make it in the game.
Dope. Calv, it's been a blessing having you on, mate.
Anytime, man.
Pleasure, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime.
Blessings, man.
Cheers,
Right
guys.
up.
Yeah, let's round it up there. Thank you so much.
I've grown into a fine young man. Truth be told, I ain't done bad. From the life one had, beautiful soul and a wife that's more. I'm truly thankful.